It's Wednesday, the 15th of February, 2023. Welcome to the Fast Five by Fear and Greed, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Michael Thompson, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Good morning, Michael.
Sean, 5 stories in 5 minutes. Let's jump into story number 1. Business conditions and confidence bounced last month, suggesting really a pretty resilient economy.
Well, yes, the National Australia Bank monthly business survey says that business conditions returned to a very high level in January following 3 softer months. Trading conditions, profitability and employment were all above average. Great news, and confidence rose to about average levels after a couple of negative readings. Now, the National Australia Bank economist Alan Oster said overall it suggests the economy is resilient to inflation and higher interest rates. But don't tell consumers that, because they're not so confident, according to the Westpac Melbourne Institute survey. In fact, consumer confidence, having picked up over Christmas, is now back to near historic lows. They were last breached in November last year. Now, this survey says that higher rates and the probability of more rate hikes has hit confidence hard. In fact, around half of all consumers think rates will rise by another percentage point. I certainly hope they're not correct. Financial traders reckon there'll be 2 more rate rises. What we've seen from some of the companies that have reported so far, JB Hi-Fi, Temple and Webster are examples, is that things have definitely slowed. The Reserve Bank's under pressure. In fact, yesterday there was a warning from KPMG's chief economist that the average household coming off a fixed rate mortgage this year needs to find an additional $16,500 in mortgage payments. Plenty going on. We'll probably find out more today when the Commonwealth Bank reports.
Yeah, all of it fairly disconcerting, it seems, Sean. Story number 2, profit at blood plasma group CSL fell 8% last half because people were giving blood again post-COVID, which really should be good news.
Yes, and it is good news. Revenue surged nearly 20%, but compared to a year earlier, which was a COVID-affected result, collections cost much, much more. That's part of the reason for the result. Also, there were big expenses relating to CSL's $12 billion purchase of Swiss pharma company Vifor late last year. So the bottom line went backwards, but that's expected to be temporary. And CSL's share price rose almost 1% to $317.75. We don't talk a lot about CSL, but it's the country's 3rd largest company. Its share price is above pre-COVID levels, which is great. Blood plasma collections are rising. In fact, they're up 36% last half year. It truly is a great Australian company, CSL.
Yeah, sure is. Story number 3, Sean, with interest rates on the rise and 800,000 plus mortgage holders to roll off fixed rate loans over the next couple of years, it seems lenders are getting a little bit creative about what they are offering customers.
Yes, so National Australia Bank subsidiary UBank last week said it would introduce a 35-year mortgage, according to Financial Review. Now, it reduces monthly payments, though over the life of the loan, borrowers definitely pay more. There's also discussion that the regulator, the Australian Prudential Regulation Authority, or APRA, will allow borrowers to get bigger loans by reducing serviceability buffers intended to make sure people have enough money to make repayments. It may sound counterintuitive, but when rates are higher, serviceability buffers might not need to be as large since rates won't keep rising forever. And APRA doesn't want rules that basically strangle the housing market. Anyway, it's clear that lenders are thinking hard about different ways to provide loans to people trying to buy a house.
Sean, story number 4, the national broadcaster, the ABC, has been in the spotlight recently and yesterday was criticised for its reporting of the Alice Springs crisis.
An ABC Ombudsman report found the public broadcaster breached impartiality and accuracy standards in a report about a community meeting in Alice Springs for its high-profile AM program. David Anderson, the managing director, said the story wasn't up to ABC's standards. The radio report claimed there were elements of white supremacy at an Alice Springs community forum on social unrest in the town. Ombudsman Fiona Cameron identified 2 breaches of editorial standards, one of impartiality for unduly favouring one perspective over another, and one for accuracy by not making reasonable efforts to ensure that material facts were accurately presented in the context. And just before we leave the ABC, Mr. Anderson, the managing director, said that human error at Amazon's cloud service had crashed ABC's website and iView for more than an hour on Monday night.
All right, final story. Story number 5. A personalised licence plate has sold for 25.5 million Hong Kong dollars or 4.5 million Aussie at an auction, which is the second highest bid on record for a city where eye-catching number plates really are a pretty common sight.
It was the letter R, just that R, that went for that amount of money. It came at a Lunar New Year auction organised by the Hong Kong Transport Department. Now, the record is for the letter W back in 2021. That was 26 million Hong Kong dollars. Next in line was V, which went for 13 million Hong Kong dollars back in 2017. There's been more than 160 auctions and over 40,000 plates have been registered since the personalised car plate system was introduced in 2006. It's brought in more than 600 million Hong Kong dollars. Michael, for your information, the most expensive phrase ever sold was back in 2006. It's one, as in I, love the letter U. I love you. There are some very odd or overly rich people in that city.
That's very sweet, Sean. That's it. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Michael.
It's Wednesday, the 15th of February, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, you can find our longer daily show called Fear and Greed, wherever you listen to podcasts. And don't forget to check out our other podcast, which is called How Do They Afford That? Every Wednesday. Today's episode is all about rebooting your household budget to help deal with those rising interest rates. I'm Michael Thompson, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed. Have a great day.